In business, the difference between struggling to survive and scaling to dominate often comes down to one word: leverage. Leverage is the ultimate multiplier. It's the principle that allows you to do more with less, to achieve exponential results with the same or even fewer resources. Most entrepreneurs think growth comes only through effort, through grinding harder, through working longer hours. And yes, effort matters, discipline matters, but if your growth is tied only to your effort, you will eventually hit a ceiling. There are only so many hours in a day, only so much energy in your body, only so much time you can spend chasing opportunities. Leverage is what allows you to break that ceiling. It is what transforms a small business into an empire. It's the force that turns vision into reality faster than logic believes possible. So what exactly is leverage? Leverage is using tools, systems, people, money, technology, and even time in ways that multiply your outcomes. Leverage is when one unit of effort produces 10, 100, 1,000 times the result. It is when your actions compound far beyond what you could achieve alone. Think about the wealthiest individuals on earth. Do you believe they are working 1,000 times harder than you? No. They have simply learned to apply leverage at a level most people never even consider. There are multiple forms of leverage in business, and the most successful leaders know how to combine them. The first form is financial leverage. Money itself is a tool. When you learn how to use capital, whether it's your own or borrowed, you can scale faster than waiting for organic growth alone. Too many business owners are afraid of debt or investment because they don't understand how to make money work for them. They operate from fear instead of strategy. But the ones who scale are the ones who recognize that properly managed capital can fuel growth, fund innovation, and accelerate expansion. Financial leverage is not about recklessness. It's about intelligent risk, about turning capital into cash flow, about using money as a servant, not a master. The second form is time leverage. Your time is the most valuable asset you will ever own. Once it's gone forever. Every day you are either compounding or wasting it. Most entrepreneurs waste their time in the weeds of their business doing tasks someone else could do better, cheaper, or faster. Time leverage means freeing yourself from the small so you can focus on the big. It means hiring people, delegating effectively, automating processes, and building systems that allow the business to run without your constant presence. The entrepreneurs who stay stuck are the ones addicted to control. They think no one can do it like them. But the leaders who scale understand that leverage comes from empowering others, from letting go of the small tasks so they can focus on vision, innovation, and growth. Then comes technology leverage. We are living in an era where technology can multiply your impact 1,000-fold. A single idea, when paired with digital tools, can reach millions of people across the globe. Automation, artificial intelligence, marketing platforms, data analytics. All of these are levers that can amplify your reach, reduce your costs, and accelerate your results. The tragedy is that many business owners resist technology because it feels uncomfortable, because they don't understand it. But mastery of leverage requires courage. It requires the willingness to adapt, to evolve, to embrace the tools that are shaping the future. If you cling to the old ways, you will be outpaced. If you leverage technology, you will dominate. Another powerful form is people leverage. No empire in history was built by one person alone. People are the ultimate leverage. The right team can execute your vision, expand your capacity, and take your business beyond anything you could achieve individually. But here's the key: you cannot just hire employees. You must create leaders. You must build a culture that inspires ownership, passion, and excellence. When your people are just working for a paycheck, they will give you the minimum. But when they are aligned with your mission, when they feel part of something greater, they will give you their hearts, their creativity, their very best energy. That is leverage. The greatest leaders know that people are not just resources. They are multipliers. Then there's knowledge leverage. Knowledge is power only when it's applied. You don't need to reinvent every wheel. You don't need to make every mistake yourself. You can leverage the experience, the strategies, the systems of those who have gone before you. You can compress decades of trial and error into days of learning. Mentors, coaches, courses, masterminds, these are tools of leverage. Too many entrepreneurs let ego get in the way. They think they know it all. But the ones who scale are the ones who humble themselves to learn from others, to absorb wisdom, and to implement it faster than the competition. And let's not forget brand leverage. A brand is not just a logo. It is the perception of value, trust, and identity in the minds of your customers. When you build a brand that people love, it creates leverage in every sale, every partnership, every expansion. People don't just buy products. They buy trust, reputation, and identity. When your brand carries weight, you don't chase customers, they chase you. That is the power of brand leverage. Now here's the truth most people don't want to face. Leverage requires letting go. It requires shifting from doing everything yourself to building systems, teams, and strategies that work even when you're not there. It requires moving from working in your business to working on your business. And that's hard for entrepreneurs who built their business with their own hands. They feel attached. They fear letting go of control. But the very thing that got you here, the grind, the hustle, the hands-on effort, is not the thing that will get you there. To scale, you must elevate. To multiply, you must release. Ask yourself, where in your business are you still the bottleneck? Where are you still trading time for money, effort for survival, instead of creating leverage for exponential growth? Because the truth is, you already have leverage available. You just may not be using it. The employees you have could be more empowered. The technology you own could be more fully utilized. The systems you avoid building could save you thousands of hours. The knowledge you refuse to seek could save you years of mistakes. The capital you hesitate to use could unlock the next level. And let's talk about mindset, because without the right psychology, leverage becomes impossible. Leverage requires trust. Trust in people, trust in systems, trust in your own ability to lead rather than do. Leverage requires courage. The courage to invest, to delegate, to innovate, to expand. It requires vision, because if you cannot see beyond the daily grind, you will never pursue the multipliers that create true scale. Think about the businesses you admire, the companies that have changed industries. Apple leveraged technology and design to transform entire markets. Amazon leveraged logistics and systems to dominate global commerce. Starbucks leveraged brand and culture to turn coffee into an experience worth billions. None of these were built by effort alone. They were built on the principle of leverage. So what does this mean for you right now, today? It means you must step back and audit your business. Where are you working harder than necessary because you're not applying leverage? Where are you losing opportunities because you're too focused on the urgent instead of the important? Where are you refusing to invest, refusing to delegate, refusing to adapt? Growth without leverage is slow, exhausting, and unsustainable. Growth with leverage is rapid, powerful, and transformative. Imagine your business 5 years from now if you continue to operate exactly as you are today. Be honest. Will you have scaled massively, or will you still be trapped in the same cycle of hustle and grind? Now imagine your business 5 years from now if you commit fully to leverage. If you master capital, empower your people, embrace technology, build systems, and align with mentors who compress your learning curve. The difference between those two futures is the difference between survival and domination. Leverage is the force that transforms ordinary businesses into extraordinary legacies, but it begins with a decision. A decision to think bigger, a decision to release control, a decision to embrace the tools and strategies that multiply your impact. You don't need to work harder, you need to work smarter with leverage. That is the key to exponential growth. That is the path to lasting success. So right now, commit to asking yourself every single day, how can I create more leverage? How can I multiply my effort, my time, my resources, instead of just adding to them? Because when you master leverage, you don't just grow, you scale. You don't just build a business, you build an empire, and that is the power of leverage in business growth. Leverage is not just a strategy, it is a philosophy. It is a way of thinking, a lens through which you view every decision, every opportunity, every challenge in your business. And when you shift into the mindset of leverage, you start asking entirely different questions. The average entrepreneur asks, how can I do this? The leader who understands leverage asks, who can do this? What system can handle this? What tool can automate this? How can I multiply the result without multiplying the effort? That change in language, that shift in perspective, is what separates businesses that plateau from businesses that scale beyond imagination. Think about it. When you were a child, you learned about a lever in physics class. A lever is a simple tool. Place a bar on a fulcrum, apply force on one side, and you can move objects 10 times, 100 times heavier than you. That is the essence of leverage. The lever doesn't create more energy. It multiplies the energy you already have. In business, leverage is that bar. It allows you to move markets, to shift industries, to create results that seem impossible given the size of your team or the amount of your resources. Without leverage, you're pushing a boulder uphill with your bare hands. With leverage, you're using machinery that can move mountains. But here's the truth most entrepreneurs miss. Leverage is everywhere, but it only becomes visible to those who seek it. Most people are so trapped in the weeds of daily activity that they don't stop to look up and see the levers waiting to be pulled. They're too busy answering emails to build the system that answers them automatically. They're too busy putting out fires to train a team member who could prevent those fires from happening. They're too busy hustling for one client to build the marketing machine that could bring in 1,000. And that's why they stay stuck, because they confuse activity with progress. Let me tell you something, busyness is not the same as business. Activity without leverage is just exhaustion. But activity with leverage becomes exponential growth. You have to decide, are you going to be the operator who stays busy forever, or the owner who leverages systems, people, and strategies to build something that outlasts them? Because ownership is about leverage. Now let's go deeper. There is another form of leverage that too many leaders ignore: relationship leverage. Relationships are the ultimate currency in business. A single partnership can open doors that would take you years to break down on your own. One introduction, one joint venture, one strategic alliance can catapult your business into a market you never thought possible. But most entrepreneurs operate in isolation. They think competition instead of collaboration. They focus on guarding what little they have instead of multiplying by aligning with others. True leaders understand that leverage lives in relationships. They invest in building networks, in creating partnerships, in finding win-win opportunities that scale both sides. You can go fast alone, but you can go far with others. Relationship leverage is proof of that. There's also media leverage. In today's world, attention is the most valuable asset. If you control attention, you control influence. And influence creates leverage in every sale, every negotiation, every opportunity. Social media, podcasts, YouTube, content marketing. These are not just platforms, they are leverage machines. One video can reach millions. One post can generate leads for years. One message can build a brand that outlives you. The problem is most entrepreneurs treat media as an afterthought, not as the core engine of leverage it is. But those who master media create leverage that compounds every single day. And let's be honest, leverage is not comfortable. Leverage challenges your habits, your control, your need to do everything yourself. It forces you to step into leadership, to trust, to release, to innovate. That's why most never use it. They choose comfort over growth. But here's the law of life and business. Growth only exists outside your comfort zone. Leverage is the leap that transforms you from a doer into a leader, from an operator into an owner, from someone running a small business into someone commanding an empire. I want you to imagine for a moment a life where your business grows even when you're not working. Imagine waking up to revenue that was created overnight through systems you built. Imagine opportunities coming to you, not because you're chasing, but because your brand, your influence, your reputation are so strong that doors open automatically. Imagine a team that is more passionate about your mission than even you are. A team that executes while you innovate. Imagine not being chained to the daily grind, but being free to focus on vision, strategy, and impact. That is the life leverage creates. That is the life you deserve if you have the courage to embrace it. So how do you move from theory to reality? It begins with awareness. Start by identifying where you are currently relying only on your own effort. Write it down, be brutally honest. Every task that drains your time, every process that repeats endlessly, every responsibility that keeps you trapped in the weeds, those are opportunities for leverage. Next, ask what could be automated, what could be delegated, what could be outsourced. What could be scaled with capital? What could be accelerated with partnerships? The answers are there, but you must ask the right questions. Then comes the second step, courage, because leverage always feels risky at first. Hiring someone feels risky, investing in technology feels risky, taking on capital feels risky, partnering with another company feels risky. But the real risk is staying small, staying stuck, staying in the hamster wheel of effort without leverage. Risk is not stepping forward, it is standing still, and then comes the third step, mastery. Leverage is not a one-time event. It is an ongoing discipline. You must constantly ask, how can I multiply this? How can I make this easier, faster, bigger, smarter? Every stage of your business requires a new form of leverage. The leverage that got you from 0 to 6 figures will not get you to 7. The leverage that took you to 7 will not carry you to 8. The game keeps evolving, and so must your levers. And here's the final piece, purpose, because leverage without purpose becomes empty. The goal is not just to make money faster. The goal is to create freedom, impact, and legacy. Leverage allows you to free yourself from the grind so you can serve at a higher level, innovate at a higher level, give at a higher level. It allows you to expand your reach, touch more lives, solve bigger problems. That's why leverage matters, because it transforms not just your business, but your life, your community, and even the world around you. Remember this, business is a game of multiplication, not addition. If you are only adding, you will always be limited. If you are multiplying, you will always be expanding. Leverage is the multiplier. And when you master it, there is no limit to what you can achieve. So today, make a decision. Decide to stop being the bottleneck. Decide to stop letting fear, ego, or habit keep you from using the levers available to you. Decide to embrace the power of leverage in every form: financial, time, technology, people, knowledge, relationships, media, brand. Decide to multiply instead of add. Decide to scale instead of struggle. Because one day you will look back and realize that the greatest breakthroughs in your business didn't come from working harder. They came from leveraging smarter. They came from the moments you let go, the moments you trusted, the moments you embraced the tools of exponential growth. That is the secret. That is the path. That is the power of leverage in business growth.